And welcome to Studio 5. Get ready to laugh. We have two stand-up comedians with us this week. Mark Christopher Lawrence and Larry Wilmore are here. Both have roles in new films that are worth seeing right now. And we have a look at a new British comedy. It's called Brian and Charles. But first, let's get to the countdown of the top 5 stories in the world of uplifting entertainment this week. Here are the first two.
At number 5. Justin Bieber's tour is on hold, and the pop star is asking fans to pray as he battles a rare neurological disorder. It's called Ramsay-Hunt syndrome.
Attacks the nerve in my ear and my facial nerves and has caused my face to have paralysis. As you can see, this eye is not blinking. I can't smile on this side of my face.
Bieber's illness is caused by the same virus that causes chickenpox and shingles.
It's gonna be okay, and I have hope, and I trust God, and I trust that this is all it's all for a reason.
At number 4.
Seems all it took to get Americans back into movie theaters was dinosaurs and fighter jets. Jurassic World Dominion debuted in first over the weekend with $143 million domestically. That's only $5 million shy of Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom's pre-pandemic opening gross 4 years ago. Top Gun Maverick drops to second, but still strong with another $50 million for a 3-week domestic gross of $393 million.
And now that the countdown has started, let's jump into this week's Studio 5 Sit Down. Mark Christopher Lawrence is a stand-up comedian, actor, and voiceover artist who may be best known for his role as Big Mike on the NBC series Chuck. We caught up with him in our conversations with the cast of the film Family Camp.
Family Camp at Lake Catocqua is the highlight of our year. You ask our family, it's the greatest place on earth.
So in Family Camp, you are who?
Pastor Dave. Just look at those cabins. Ice cold air conditioning. Can I get an amen?
Amen. Did you fall into the role of minister with ease in Family Camp?
I put a little bit of my childhood pastor in him because he was funny and very gregarious and so there's a little of him in there.
It doesn't matter how old your kids are. Our daughter's 19, and she is more pumped for camp this year than ever, right, sweetie? Whoop, 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 sugar bear.
What did you like about the story? What made you say, I want to sign on and do this?
Well, when I read it, the first thing that hit me was that, everybody can see this. It's not heavy-handed, beating you over the head, let me save your soul. It's showing these people's journey. And then it was funny. And I like funny.
When God closes a door, he opens a Chick-fil-A.
Goes like this.
I thought my family would just magically become the family that I've always wanted them to be.
Things get a little more complicated when you get a peek behind the curtain.
What's the message coming through the laughter here, you think?
The biggest message is that families need to do things together. You get your families together, you go to camp, you go to church, you do these things together. I think in our society today, we're so inundated with work and stuff that we don't even sit down and eat together. And so I think bringing that family as a cohesive unit to a place that's exciting for everyone. I think that's the thing.
I love that, because God created family.
Yeah. Yeah.
Indeed. What is Mark's acting journey? When did you know this is what you wanted to do? I grew up in Compton, California, to start with. Wow.
During the height of the rise of the Bloods and Crips, we were the second black family on our street by 1973, 74. All the white families had moved out, and the Robinsons moved in, and they were gangbanged. That was the first time I'd ever even heard of a gang.
Wow.
And by the time I got to the 10th grade, I was sort of on the fence, and I ran into Mrs. Schilling, who was my 10th grade English teacher, and she put me in my first play. She got me involved in speech and debate, which ultimately ended up with scholarship to USC for debate. And one day I decided to take a voice class for speaking and centering, and the instructor talked me into auditioning for the Bachelor of Fine Arts acting program at SC. So he coached me for it. I auditioned and they put me in as a sophomore. I was already a junior, and then I started working professionally the same year.
Really?
Yeah, in theater, and my first TV show was Hill Street Blues.
Do you feel blessed that this started so quickly for you?
I feel blessed that I'm still here, because there's so many people that I know who have, we went to school together, or I met them early in my career, and they're out of the game already. And every time I feel like I want to do something different, God closes the door and says, no, this is where I need you. And I did an episode of Touched by an Angel with Della Reese, and I had watched Harlem Nights. And like the night before, after seeing it like 20 times, and I said to her, I said, I watched Harlem Nights last night. I said, you're cracking me up. And she goes, oh Lord, they had me cussing like a sailor. And I said to her, I said, because she was a minister, I said, did you get any like pushback from that? And she goes, you're asking me because you're wondering if you should turn down a job. I said, partly. She says, let me tell you something. She says, God doesn't open doors for you that he doesn't want you to go through. You don't know why he wants you to go to do a job, even if the part is a part that you don't necessarily care for. She says, he's trying to show his light and love through you to somebody that you have no idea who's there. Take your job, baby.
Let's get out there and have some fun this summer.
And you can find more from Mark in a Dry Bar comedy special, but you can also find him in the films like The Pursuit of Happiness and shows like Chuck and My Name is Earl. And of course, right now, he's also part of the cast of Family Camp.
Still ahead.
2% gains. You just gotta be more aggressive. I could double your money in
7.27 years.
Literally the only time I was gonna get to use that today.
Comedian Larry Wilmore take us behind the scenes of his latest acting role.
To read such an inspirational story from, of people who looking out for each other.
In the film, Jerry and Marge go large.
I don't know what this says. It looks like the numbers a crazy man drew in a cell wall.
I cannot believe you are my accountant.
It's the new Superbook Bible app. It's packed with games, activities, and Superbook episodes that you can watch for free. Oh no! There's trivia, a fun daily devotional, and answers to your Bible questions. Plus, an easy-to-understand Bible the whole family will enjoy. You can even create your own Superbook character. Ta-da! It's the new Superbook Bible app. Free downloads on iTunes, Google Play, and Amazon.
Heavenly Father, we do thank you for the work of your Spirit, Lord God, with this movement of getting the Bible,
yes,
Lord, into public schools.
Watch The Prayer Link. Tuesday morning at 7:30 on the CBN News Channel. Get Protect Your Sleep and discover how to improve the quality of your life. A free DVD or booklet from the Christian Broadcasting Network.
If you're not a great sleeper, you can do things to make yourself a great sleeper. If you're already a pretty good sleeper, you can enhance your sleep and be even better.
5 leading experts help remove the obstacles between you and restorative sleep.
When you don't get a restful night's sleep, you wake up with an accumulation of stress.
Call 1-800-700-7000 or go to cbn.com to get your free DVD or booklet today.
Everything you do better with a good night's sleep.
You'll discover how food affects your sleep, how to put insomnia to rest, explore effective remedies for sleep apnea, and much more in Protect Your Sleep. Wake up to your best life and get Protect Your Sleep today. Call 1-800-700-7000 or go to cbn.com to get your free DVD or booklet.
At number 3.
The Chosen, the popular TV show that continues to captivate millions by offering a unique lens into the gospel narrative, has been preparing to present a truly stunning moment in its upcoming 3rd season. Jesus and his disciples feeding the 5,000. These photos, courtesy of The Chosen, show the making of the scene, which was filmed over 4 days on a production site in Midlothian, Texas. They came from all 50 states and 36 countries and range in age from 91 to tiny babies. The powerful scene is based on the narrative in Matthew 14, verses 13 through 21, where readers see Jesus miraculously feed a crowd of 5,000 people with only 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish.
At number 2.
How do you like me now? How do you like me now?
Prayers for a country music star.
Now to our GMA cover story. Country music superstar Toby Keith announcing that he's been battling stomach cancer since last fall.
Canceling his summer performances, Keith shared on Instagram. Last fall, I was diagnosed with stomach cancer. I've spent the last 6 months receiving chemo, radiation, and surgery. So far, so good. I need time to breathe, recover, and relax. I'm looking forward to spending this time with my family, but I'll see the fans sooner than later. I can't wait.
How do you like me now?
Well, that right there leaves us only one more story to share in this week's countdown. We'll get to it in just a little bit. We want to turn now to a new film, Jerry and Marge Go Large. It's inspired by the true story of a Michigan retiree who discovers a mathematical loophole in the Massachusetts lottery. He and his wife then win millions to revive their small town. Actor and comedian Larry Wilmore helps us to give you this Studio 5 first look.
Everybody, to Jerry. Not everybody can pull off 42 years without getting fired.
Jerry, you don't have to work so hard. You're retiring.
I don't have to be. How's my account?
2% gains. You just gotta be more aggressive.
Let me begin with your first and initial take on this story when you read it. What did you think?
I loved it immediately.
The more we bet, the better the odds.
Let's do it.
You know, I read it in the height of the pandemic, you know, and it's when, you know, you're just going, I'm so depressed, you know, the world is going to disappear next week, you know, that's what you're thinking. And to read such an inspirational story from, you know, of people who looking out for each other, you know, Jerry, who math was the thing, not winning money, you know, just trying to figure out that puzzle. And it was so funny and just so heartwarming. It really spoke to me. I was really, really inspired by it when I read it.
I was always good with math, codes, puzzles, you name it, but I just feel like I never got to be a part of the world. But I found this flaw. There's a loophole that the lottery didn't see. It's right here in the math.
I don't know what this says. It looks like the numbers a crazy man drew in a cell wall.
I cannot believe you are my accountant.
Tell me about your character. You're their accountant in this film. Tell me about him.
Well, Steve Litt is Jerry's CPA, but he's also a part-time travel agent because, you know, in a small town like that, I've got about 6 clients max, you know, so not going to be a lot of money in it, you know. Double your money in
7.27 years.
Literally the only time I was going to get to use that today. What's great about his character is that he decides to just give in, you know, and have fun and enjoy things a little bit. And that really inspired me when I read that. I thought that was really cool.
What lessons have you taken away from this particular story?
Only play the roll down if you're gonna play the lottery. You know?
Can I help you? We'd like to buy 8,000 windfall tickets.
Don't be trying to play any old lotto. You know, be smarter about what you're doing, and get a math whiz to go along with you when you're playing these games. I think everyone should. Those are the simple lessons of this film. I think everyone can take.
I'm playing the lottery, and I won $15,000.
Why didn't you just tell me?
We barely have enough money to retire on. This is no time to risk it.
Yes, it is.
If you look hard enough at something, there's a way to kind of beat it, you know? And the fact that for Jerry, it was a puzzle, you know, it wasn't even about money, it was a puzzle, and he was determined. Something like that happened to me when I was in 7th grade. We had this teacher who was from Brazil, or he was from Peru, rather, and he gave us this math puzzle, and he said, if anybody figures this out, I will make you a steak dinner. And I'm like, okay. And I wasn't even the best math person ever. I worked on that thing I figured that out, and sure enough, a couple months later, he and his wife had me over at their house and made me a steak dinner. How awesome was that? But like Jerry, I would not rest till I figured that math problem out.
What now?
We want to start a corporation.
We'll split the profits with the whole town.
when did you know you were funny?
I never thought of myself funny. The world around me was always funny. I always felt like I am the messenger to tell you about the world around me. Started with my parents, who are the funniest people in the world, even though they don't know it, you know. So all I've ever done my whole life is just bring you all the funny that's around me all the time. I didn't have to be funny when I have a world that's funny around me. We're betting $500,000.
Go big or go home.
It really does feel like we're robbing a bank.
Nah, this is gonna be more fun.
Jerry and Marge Go Large begins streaming this Friday, June 17th. You can find it exclusively on Paramount+. Before we take our next break, we want to share our weekly story in pictures. Here's this week's Studio 5 Snapshot.
It's an animated snapshot of Paws of Fury, the legend of Hank. It's the story of a downtrodden hound in a town of cats in need of a hero to fend off a ruthless villain's plot to wipe their village off the map. With a little help, the underdog rises up to be a fearsome samurai, leading a team of felines to save the day. Only problem, they all hate dogs. This feature includes the voices of Samuel L. Jackson, Jaimin Ansu, George Takei, and more. It's released July 15th, but this picture-perfect preview is this week's Studio 5 Snapshot. Up next.
My new project, I'm building a robot. Didn't look too bad, does he?
Another big screen barrel of laughs. We have a look at Brian and Charles.
Life is better with a good night's sleep. Get your free DVD or booklet of Protect Your Sleep as the world watches from the outside.
It's a big diplomatic tug-of-war here in the Middle East.
Go inside the story with Jerusalem Dateline.
Israeli archaeologists are talking about a discovery that could change the thinking about the Temple Mount.
Join CBN Jerusalem Bureau Chief Chris Mitchell and get the biblical perspective on the events shaping the world.
What starts in Israel then ends up going to other places.
Watch Jerusalem Dateline Friday night at 8:30 on the CBN News Channel.
Life. It's meant to be lived fully. Jesus said it. I came to give you life. Life to the fullest. Life in your family. Life in your finances. Life in your body, mind, and spirit. Life in your everyday. At CBN.com, we're taking what Jesus said seriously. We're here to help you discover life. Life. Live it fully. CBN.com.
Welcome back to Studio 5. A bright spot in this week's rundown is Brian and Charles. It's a British comedy film directed by Jim Archer, and it's his feature debut, pulled from a screenplay by David Earl and Chris Hayward, who also star in the film.
My name's Brian. This is my infamous inventions pantry. It's actually a cowshed. Things went a bit topsy-turvy in my life and I was very alone. Ah, fiddlesticks! That's when I just started making stuff. Any little idea I had, I just made. It's an egg bell, pinecone bag, flying cuckoo clock. So whenever anyone in the village wants to know the time, they can look up in the air and I'll be there. Get back! It's on fire! They don't always work, and the stuff I build isn't for everyone.
Well, I'm impressed.
Thanks. My new project, I'm building a robot. Didn't look too bad, does he? I wonder what he'll do when I turn him on. Would you like me to give you a name? Tony? Charles?
Charles.
Charles?
Charles.
You like that name, do you?
Hello, Brian.
Hello, Charles. It's lovely to meet you. This is incredibly overwhelming.
Imagine me and you
do.
I never thought I'd make anything as amazing as Charles.
You built my body.
I built his body.
And my tummy is a washing machine.
And his tummy is a washing machine.
So happy together.
You should show him to people. Why not?
And what you want for him? Oh, he's not for sale. Why are you wearing that?
I feel pretty cool, man.
Imagine
I want to go on an adventure. Everything is lovely.
It's not all lovely.
Stay down, boy.
There's a big old world out there. A big, perilous world.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
What was that?
It's okay.
Perilous. So very perilous. I want to sit in the front, Brian.
No, you're not sitting in the front. You're sitting in the back.
I will sit in the front.
You'll sit in the back.
Front.
Stop saying front.
Front, 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 front.
I've never met anybody that could build a robot.
we're happy together.
I'm not a child. I can look after myself, man.
What's got into you? I tend to learn from each thing that I build. Bullseye!
I am your friend, Brian.
I'm your friend too.
This British comedy, Brian and Charles, is in theaters this Friday. That is June 17th. On that note, we have made it to the final story in this week's countdown of the top 5 stories in uplifting entertainment. Here's a quick look at what is finishing on top this week.
At number 1.
An 11-year-old girl wowed the audience and judges on NBC's America's Got Talent with her Amazing Grace performance.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me.
The crowd chanted for her to get the golden buzzer, and Howie Mandel rang it, so she is going to the finals.
And what's your dad's name?
Chris.
How are you feeling, Chris?
Doing good, doing good. I just want, I've been battling cancer for the last 9 years, and that's how she learned to sing. She would sing to me at the hospital throughout all my surgeries, all my chemo treatments, singing to me and helping me get better, and I'm doing very well.
Amazing. And now you're standing there with your wonderful dad, and you are a little star.
Just moments away.
I killed a guy that night with jokes. If you had to die somewhere that night, that event was the place to be.
Comedian Mark Christopher Lawrence brings us a final moment of funny.
Hey, if you're tired and exhausted all day, you can't think clearly, and you really just need a cup or even a pot of coffee to get through your day, then join me, Dr. Josh Axe, for this new series where I'm going to teach you how to transform your diet and use essential oils and supplements to get a better night's sleep.
Wake up to your best life. Call 1-800-700-7000 to get your free DVD or booklet of Protect Your Sleep today.
It's about the competition.
I kind of put that pressure on myself, and I think people had expectations.
It's about overcoming.
We use this phrase all the time, keep chopping, keep practicing hard.
It's about going the distance.
I think as a father, it's my job, to lead. Just be the best husband and father I can be.
Watch Going the Distance with Sean Brown Saturday night at 7:30 on the CBN News Channel.
Orphans Promise is committed to loving and serving at-risk children, to helping keep families together, and to creating opportunities for strong and sustainable communities around the world. We're working in over 60 countries around the world, and with your help, we can do even more. There's an old African proverb I love that says, if you want to run fast, run alone. But if you want to run far, run together. At Orphans Promise, we want to run far so we can touch the lives of as many orphaned and vulnerable children as possible. But we don't want to go alone. We're out to change the world, one child, one family, one community at a time. Will you join us?
Welcome back to Studio 5. Music fuels this production, and this week's pick comes with a tiny spoiler alert when it comes to Jerry and Marge Go Large, which we shared earlier. Singer Tori Kelly makes a musical appearance in the movie, and she's this week's Studio 5 soundtrack. Take a listen and you'll hear why her take on Psalm 42 is what's playing in my ear. As the deer pants for the water, so my soul longs for you. Thank you, Tori Kelly and Kirk Franklin. On that musical note, we are just about out of time for this week's Studio 5. So let's take just a moment to look ahead to next week's rundown.
I got good news for the broken, for the hurting.
Husband and wife worship duo Brian and Katie Torwalt have good news in their new music project.
What does it mean to hear good news in 2022?
There's a miracle in the works, and I can feel it.
There truly is good news in 22, just like it was good news 2,000 years ago.
Please make time to join us for that story and so much more next week. Before we say goodbye this week, we have just enough time for one more word, and I happily give that time to Mark Christopher Lawrence.
When I got to college, I stopped going to church. I said, I'm a grown man. I don't got to go to church if I want to, blah, blah, blah. You know, and as I got older, I started feeling like, wow, something is missing. And it was just God tugging me back. You know, I had a couple of ministers saying that God's going to call you, and when He does, just live your life. And when He does, you know, be ready. And I didn't necessarily know what that calling was. And then my comedy took a turn for Squeaky Clean. And I go and do comedy at churches, and people talk to me afterwards. And one time, this lady, we were doing a talk back after the show, and the question was, if you had a power, a superpower, what would it be? I said, I wish I had the power to heal. And this lady stood up. She says, you do have that power. She says, I came in here feeling terrible. I hadn't been out in over 6 months. My friends drug me out here. She says, and I feel like I can go out tomorrow. She says, this laughter has helped me. She says, you are a healer. And so I think, you know, God is putting me in that place to embrace the fact that my calling is entertaining people.
Mark Christopher Lawrence, thank you. That is a great final word for this edition of Studio 5 and for this week's look at uplifting entertainment. Until next time, make time to uplift someone around you, and then please come on back and see where Studio 5 takes you next week. Bye-bye. Thank you for watching.